Man, before I even start making this video, I already know that YouTube is gonna just nerf the hell out of this thing into the ground. But I feel like making the video, so it doesn't really matter. So here we go. YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, welcome back to the channel. Guys, I'm not huge into streaming so much as I used to be anymore. And when it comes to what streamers say, I don't really take it too awful serious. I think a lot of streamers' opinions are like just basically whining a lot of the time. They're just crying about something. It's like daytime drama, basically. The streaming world is a vast, just ridiculous world that has a bunch of different kinds of personalities. You have psychopaths like Hassan Piker. You have base people like Asmongold, where Hassan Piker is an absolute hypocritical idiot, and Asmongold actually having some pretty base takes. And then you have Nickmercs. Nickmercs puts out a lot of content. He's a huge streamer. He's been in the gaming community for God knows how long. I remember watching him during like Gears of War stuff. He's been around for a while. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Nickmercs. I think he's a little too much for me. I don't really necessarily hate the guy. He's just not my flavor of content. But Nickmercs had the audacity to say the words they should leave little children alone. This coming after the tweet from someone else discussing the pro and anti-LGBT little feud that had happened in Glendale, California. Now, I'm sure a lot of you already seen the coverage on that. A lot of parents mad about a bunch of people who don't even have kids are out there trying to basically force these parents to be okay with the school in order to recognize June as Pride Month for the school. I believe a lot of these parents are Armenian, if I'm not mistaken. That part doesn't matter. What does matter is the stances that a lot of these people are taking. Call of Duty, for instance, is one of the games that Nickmercs actually plays a lot and actually has a skin in the game, actually like a whole bundle. He has actually a partnership and a deal with the game, so he's like in the game. You can play as him. Activision Call of Duty decided to remove that from the game, stating, due to recent events, we have removed the Nickmercs operator bundle from Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone store. We are focused on celebrating Pride with our employees and our community. Now, that wasn't met with the community on a very positive note. We have tweets like, leave the kids alone, and are you guys asking for the Bud Light treatment? And showing videos of people uninstalling the game, calling them pedo groomers or Call of groomers, just all kinds of stuff. It's actually pretty intense. Now, whether you find this to be warranted or not, that's entirely up to you. I, for one, think it was a big miss. Activision Call of Duty kind of come out looking like they're in support of some not so savory child-involved stuff. Now, this issue seemingly was pretty divided, but from my research, it looks like the people for Nickmercs was way more intense than the people that were against him. There are a few outliers, sure, but if you look at like the overall like response rate to everything, the people on Nickmercs' sides was much greater, which brought a little faith in humanity into me. You had people like Dr. Disrespect deleting the game, saying he's not going to play the game until they reverse what they've done to Nick. And then you got people like Hassan Piker, which I'm not going to play the clip, but he was saying that teachers or schools are not doing this. They're not trying to indoctrinate kids. They're not trying to push them into a certain thing because of a certain agenda. There's quite a bit of evidence suggesting otherwise.
I was in the library and this book was on a stand. I'd like to read you a page. My back over my hips as I ask if we should take our clothes off. And he's saying yes before I finish my sentence. He's pulling off my t-shirt, laughing when I can't undo his shirt buttons. He's undoing my belt. I'm reaching into his bedside drawer for a condom. We're kissing. Again, we're rolling over. Obviously, you can see where this is going. I don't know if it's because we're feeling especially emotional or just tired, or these past couple of weeks have been too much. But this reminds me so much of the first time we had sex. We were both fucking terrified, and the whole thing was kind of terrible because we didn't know what we were doing. But it was good too, so good, because we were a mess of emotions, and we were scared and excited, and everything felt new. So this sort of feels like that. Nick touches me like he's scared that any minute. Now, this book was at my middle school, and it was on a stand. When I rented it out to show my dad it, the librarian asked if I wanted more and if I wanted a graphic novel version.
This whole new thing that they're calling maps that I'm seeing a lot of in California, you're welcome to look up what maps are. I obviously need to be a little careful on the YouTube or they, will nerf the hell out of me, but probably gonna nerf me anyways. But these people that claim to be a part of the LGBTQ, plus community that want to push kids or even try to get close to kids in any way, shape, or form need to be categorized as some of these maps because they have no business being in that community at all. I see a lot of you in my comment section that are either lesbian or gay that find a lot of this shit to be disgusting as well, which again boosts my faith in humanity just that much more. I will stress it again. I have no problem with that community at all. I will always have a problem with anyone, including straight people, going after children in a very sexual way. I'm going to do a quick sidebar here and I'm going to wrap this video up. I was 12 years old in the 7th grade, and that's due to my birthday. And most of the kids in this class were 13, and it was an opt-in, opt-out situation. It was in our health class, so we had our health teacher do the teaching. And in the sex ed, they basically went over all your fundamentals, what they have, what you have, what happens during, and what is the potential after effects, whether it be getting someone pregnant or catching a specific specific disease, and then we went over said diseases. It was pretty clean, cut, and dry. But again, the parents had to sign off on it during that week. So if they didn't sign off on it, you basically would just leave the room while they were teaching the other kids that were signed off on it. And it being a very scientific explanation, I don't think I remember any kid not going to it. And that's because the curriculum was printed out and given to each parent that showed a step-by-step thing on what they were going to discuss in the room. No more, no less. Now, if parents want to opt a kid in at that age to learn about these things, I'm totally fine with that. But if they want to opt out, they should have that option, because maybe the parents want to explain it to the kids in a very different way. And listen, you might not approve of the way they teach their kids on what's going on out here, okay? And as much as that might suck to you, that's not up for you to decide how parents want to handle that. They are not your kids. They are simply not your children. They are theirs. They feed, clothe, and house them, and they brought them into this world. Where does that end? Where does it end where you get to decide about anything they have to learn? They are simply the parents, and you may or may not agree with how they teach their kids about these kinds of things, and that's just how it is. And as far as Nickmercs' situation, I stand with you, brother. I know this falls on deaf ears. You probably will never see this, and I know you have a huge community of people that are supporting you. I've seen your community. They're a bunch of psychos in a good way, But anyways, guys, definitely tell me what you think. Leave a comment down below, but don't forget to like or dislike the video. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, guys. And of course, I really appreciate your time, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.